Alright, so now let's create some menus. For our menus, we will need text and we will need buttons. For the text, I'm using a font named Abstract, which looks like this. This is the font Abstract. It is awesome. I just like the style. I think it goes well with the style of graphics we have going on. You can get the font Abstract from here. And if you want to learn how to use or how to install custom fonts, then check out one of the two links. So yeah, you can be using Abstract if you want to, but I'll be yeah, so I will be using it, but you could just as well be using some different font like let's say Impact. Um, if you prefer that. Yeah, so um, let's create our button. To do so, let's show our grid. So view grid, show grid. All right. Let's create. We don't need a stroke. Create. Oh, sorry. Snapping is off. I make sure that snapping is back on. All right. Keep drawing squares like so. All right. Select these. Set them to that gray. No, the darkest gray. No, this gray is fine actually. And a lighter gray, like so. Alright, select it and copy, paste it in place, and let's flip it around and place it somewhere here. Alright, yeah, select this and let's go modify, convert to symbol, and we're going to call this menu button. Exporting it for ActionScript, and we're gonna name it menu button. Yes, double click on this, and now we're editing the menu button. Yeah, so this is our layer, and we're going to call this folder. Another one is going to be text, and yeah, let's create our text then. So we want it to be as wide as those holders are. So this is fine. All right, let's just type something just so we get an idea how it looks like. I'm going to set this color of the text to this bright green. All right, and let's make sure it aligns nicely. So turn off the grid just to look how it looks like. Seems fine. All right. Yes. This is the label of that button, and we would like to change the text. However, we don't want to be creating a button every time we want a different one, a play button, a back button, a help button. So it's better to just make this one button that is customizable. And to do so, we need to be able to communicate with the text, with the label. So if it's static text, make sure that you set it to dynamic text. Set the instance name to label. All right, and this is a button, and most buttons have three states. They have a up state or an idle state, which is the state where you don't have your mouse anywhere near that button. It's when it's not being used. You have the over state, which is when your mouse gets over the button, and then you have the down state which is when somebody holds down his or her primary mouse button over the button. We're going to create all those states. And to do so, it's good to use frame labels. So I'm just going to create a new layer. This is not needed, but it just um, to keep things organized. I just like to keep frame labels on their own layer. Um, yeah, and create two other keyframes. So create a keyframe and create another keyframe. For the text, just create a new frame, insert frame, and create a blank keyframe and another blank keyframe. So this is the up state, the state where the idle state. So let's tell that in our properties panel that this frame has the label up. Then we're going to now design our over state. So let's call this state the over state. And we are just going to add a background to the text, namely in our holder layer, we're just changing, we're adding a background and setting it to this dark gray. All right, now the last is the down state, and the down state is also having a background, but we're going to make it lighter, like so. All right, so now we have, these are our three button states, our idle state, our over state, and our down state. All right, let's go back to our scene and remove this button. A small note, when you're going to be using a custom font, it's important to embed that font. We're using abstracted font, which many users won't have on their machine, so we need to embed it. So go to text, font embedding, and let's give it a name, sort of how the name of this font we're embedding. Because let's say you'd be embedding times, then you could be embedding times regular or times bold or bold italic. So, well, let's just call it abstract regular. The family's abstract. And we're embedding uppercase, lowercase, numerals, and punctuation. All right, and now press the plus button. And now we have embedded that that font. All right. If you look in the library, we now see abstract regular. All right. Let's create our menus now. Let's first create our start menu. So let's just grab some type. So draw a big text area. And the game is going to be named The Last Shuttle. And now let's get that type up. So this seems right. Set it to our bright green color. And I don't like the line height or the leading, so let's just increase that. That looks better. And lastly, we don't need to interact with this text, so just set it to static text. Okay, now let's just add some buttons. So we'll need two buttons, like so. And also let's just add our planet. And we're going to send it to the back. Yeah, let's add some stars as well. All right. Select all the graphics and go to modify, convert to symbol, and name this start menu. It's going to be the type movie clip, export for action script, and set the base class to sprite. All right, now just double click on our start menu, movie clip, and just move everything 20 pixels down. And now we still need to interact with these buttons, or at least we want our start menu to interact with them. So let's give them some instance names so we can talk to them. Give this one the play button name, and this one we'll name help button. All right. All right. Let's save it and let's create our help menu. So our help menu is going to be like this. Grab your text tool and let's set the type to 6 points or whatever looks appropriate with your font. Set it to line to the right. You are. Let's make it 10. You are. All right. Then avoid. And collect. No, that seems fine. Now let's just drag some of our graphics. Okay, you are that spaceship. Avoid that meteor. And where's our laser? There it is. Alright, let's just make it smaller. Oh, to scale it down, disable snapping. Something like that. I'm just getting a bit tight. I'm moving everything down. Alright, avoid these two. Collect that diamond. Yeah. And lastly, still some instructions. You control. Let's make that type a bit smaller. Set it to 8. No, 6. You control the shuttle's height with the. Oh no, that's easier. The louder you shout, the higher you fly. Should be fine. And let's add a back button. So drag a menu button out. And go to properties and give it an instance of back button. Alright, select all of this and go to modify, convert to symbol. Going to be calling this help menu. And again, set the base class to sprite. Double click on our help menu and just move everything 20 pixels down and some 30 pixels to the right. Okay. Remove our help menu. And our last thing which we need is a score display. While you're playing, you'd like to know how many lives you have remaining and what your current score is. So let's just zoom in and draw a text area. Going to score. Let's make 10. Oh, score. Make another one. Lives. And just copy these text fields. Copy them, paste them in place, move them aside, set them to align to the left, and just type in some numbers. Score is 300 and lives is 2. Does that look alright? Yeah, it does. The only thing is these are gonna change. I mean, score and lives, that's always gonna stay there, but what that score is, what your lives are, that's gonna change. So select your that score field and set it to dynamic text. I'm going to call it score field, And this one is also dynamic text, and that's gonna be life's field. Alright. Select this, go to modify, convert to symbol, and call the symbol score display. And oh, forgot to set the linkage settings. Go to library and export for ActionScript. Name this score display, and the base class is sprite. We still need to create a game over menu. So grab your type tool, draw a large text box, write game over. This seems about right. Yeah. Then add still a second text box. Namely, your score was. Let's set the type to something smaller, 15. Maybe even 10. Your score was something. Alright. Copy it, paste in place, move it downwards. Wait, like so. Copy again, paste in place. Copy, paste in place. And we got now our 4 text fields. But this one's going to be dynamic, namely dynamic text. And we're going to call that score field. And we have here our other text, namely your high score was. Alright, so this is not working. Let's set the text to 15. No, to 6. And this one also to 6. And we're going to set this one to dynamic text as well, and name this one high score field. Alright, and then lastly we are going to add a menu button with the text select everything, go to modify, convert to symbol, name it game over screen, export for ActionScript, the base class is sprite, double click still, and edit the game over screen, give that button yes button. Select everything, move it 10 pixels down. Alright, save it, and you can delete this. We're done. So just to look back, what have we done? We've created a diamond, a laser, its laser beam, a meteorite, a planet, a player, a star. We have our menus, which are a game over screen, a help menu, a menu button, a score display, a start menu, and also we've embedded our font. So yeah, take a rest. You've been busy for quite a while, and we're going to proceed to part 2, which is that we're going to code all the menus so that everything works well together. See you in a bit.